Hello, welcome back to our little corner on the web, where we aim to nurture both interest and knowledge of learners in math, and more importantly, learning. Today, we will share one way to solve question 17, the 26th Philippine Math Olympiad Area Stage, Part 1. We hope you will find this useful and educational. Question 17 states that, given a function f, which maps the real numbers excluding 0 and 1, to a set of real numbers, be a function such that f of x plus f of 1 all over the quantity 1 minus x is equal to 1 all over x times the quantity 1 minus x. The fractional part of 2024 can be expressed as in the form a over b, where a and b are relatively prime positive integers. Find the remainder when b minus a is divided by 1,000. Okay, so here, we're given that 0 and 1 are not part of the domain. So we can't really use 0 and 1 to test out whether we can find a pattern here. And this also doesn't look like any special function, like the product of exponentials or logarithms or things like that. So we just went ahead and plugged in 2024 just to see what happens or if we can find a pattern. Turns out, if the first input is 2024, the second input being 1 all over 1 minus the first input can be simplified to f of negative 1 over 2023. If we use negative 1 all over 2023 as the first input, we get that the second input must be f of 2023 over 2024. Doing it one more time, if the first input is f of 2023 over 2024, it turns out that the second input must be f of 2024. Okay, if we follow the pattern that the first input is x and the next input is 1 minus 1 over x. So there is a cycle where we get 2024 back. It also turns out that if we plug this first pair of inputs and add the third pair of input and subtract the second pair of inputs just cancels out and we're left with 2f of 2024. So let's go back and work with variables and hopefully make it a little bit cleaner to follow. Okay, so again, restating the function here, if the first input was x, the second input is 1 all over 1 minus x. Using that as the first input, we get that the second input can actually be simplified to x minus 1 over x. And if we use x minus 1 over x as the third set of first input, the second input is x. Okay, so as we said a while ago, adding the first pair to the third pair here in our inputs and subtracting the second pair actually cancels neatly out the terms which are not f of x. Okay, so we can actually now use this expansion to find f of x. So f of x is nothing more than 1/2 times the functions which have the first set of inputs, right? The first pair, and plus the third pair minus the second pair. Okay, that's really just what's here. Okay, so given the definition, the first pair of input is nothing more than 1 all over x times 1 minus x, which is basically 1 minus the first input. Okay, or the first argument of the function, plus 1 all over x minus 1 over x, which is here, minus times 1 minus that. Okay, minus basically that input. Okay, and then subtracting the second pair of functions that we have. Okay, so by definition, that's now 1 all over 1 minus x times 1 minus 1 all over 1 minus x. Okay, so doing some simplifications. Okay, the first pair the first expression here we don't simplify. It's basically what it is, 1 all over x times 1 minus x. The second one simplifies nicely to x squared all over x minus 1. And the third expression here simplifies also nicely to positive 1 minus x quantity squared all over x. Okay. Again, all the next three steps are just simplifying it. Okay. Up until we get to this final expression where f of x can actually be just expressed as the quantity 2x minus 1 all over 2 plus 1 over x. So what we really just need is the fractional portion of this if x was 2024. So the fractional portion of f of 2024 must be the fractional portion when we plug in 2024 to this. So twice 2024 minus 1 is 4047 over 2. That's the first expression, plus 1 over 2024. Okay. The fractional portion of the first one is a half. The fractional portion of the second expression here is just 1 over 2024. The sum is less than 1, so we can just leave it here as the fractional portion. I left out the notation. It's just the sum of these two fractions, or nothing more than 1013 over 2024. They're mutually prime. They're relatively prime. Okay, so a over b over a. Sorry, a over b is just basically 1013 over 2024. Okay, so the difference is 1011, and the remainder when divided by 1000 is 11. Okay. We hope you found this solution useful and educational. If you did, give it a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.